At the beginning of the drama, the female lead named Xiang Yifan is shown. Today was her first day at college, which was a very important day for her because she was going to propose to her first love from high school in front of the entire college. She enters the hall wearing a beautiful red dress. The hero of this drama, named Yan Qi, was playing the piano for the opening ceremony. As soon as he finishes his performance, everyone claps for him. After that, Yifan comes on stage. The anchor welcomes her and hands her the mic for the speech. Just as she starts, her attention goes to a flag that was loose and about to fall, so she takes off her heel and hits the flag with it to stop it from falling. Now, with that heel, the flag gets stuck in a fire alarm, causing the alarm to go off. Water starts coming out of the sprinklers, and everyone starts running away. Yifan's heel also comes down with the flag and hits Yan Qi on the head, causing Yifan's proposal plan to flop. After this, we see Yifan introducing herself, where she says, "I know Yan Qi from high school. I never talked to him in high school. Now that we both got admission to the same college, I have a good chance to tell Yan Qi about my feelings." In the next scene, we see Yifan entering the class. Because of her actions on the first day, the girls there are talking about her. This makes Yifan feel a little embarrassed. Just then, the teacher comes and tells them about a competition. After class, the teacher calls Yifan and Yan Qi to his office. Since both were bright students, the teacher makes them the class monitors. Hearing this, Yifan gets happy and thinks, "Now I will get a chance to spend time with Yan Qi." After this, a sports competition is shown, where Yifan had to stand on one leg and make her opponent fall. It was difficult for her because her opponent was a boy. Then Yan Qi tries to cheer her up. He says, "You can do it." Now, motivated by his cheering, she makes her opponent fall with one kick and wins the game. This way, all the matches end. Now their class comes first in today's tournament, making everyone very happy. In the next scene, Yan Qi was going somewhere when a girl comes and proposes to him. Now Yifan comes there holding a box. She was going to ask Yan Qi for help, but seeing him busy, she starts taking it herself. But Yan Qi takes the box from her hand and says to the girl, "Sorry, I didn't hear you because I had my hands free." So the girl leaves. Then they both go to the teacher's room, where Yan Qi asks, "Why did the teacher call you to the office?" She says, "They want us to participate in tomorrow's competition." She says, "I will participate in every sports event because I want to be with my friends." So Yan Qi remembers that someone said the same thing a few years ago. Now he was leaving when Yifan says to him, "I want to be with you." Hearing this, Yan Qi doesn't understand. So Yifan changes her words, "I mean, I want to work with you because we are both monitors." The next day, the competition starts where Yifan stands behind Yan Qi. To impress Yan Qi, she lets her hair down. So Yan Qi also looks at her strangely. Then the game starts and both teams start pulling hard. Yifan was interested in Yan Qi, so while playing the game, she touches Yan Qi's elbow. As soon as she touches it, their opponents let go of the rope, causing the whole team to fall down. After this, the second game starts where two teammates tie one leg together. When Yifan finds out that her partner is Yan Qi, she gets very happy. Now the race was about to start, so Yifan tries to hold Yan Qi's hand, but couldn't do it out of fear. Meanwhile, Yan Qi holds her by the shoulder, which makes her very happy. Then the race starts, and they begin to run, but midway, they both fall down. Yifan didn't want to lose the game, so she starts running, lifting Yan Qi up. Yan Qi doesn't understand what is happening because he was hanging upside down on her shoulder, causing his favorite candy box, which was very important to him, to fall down, but Yan Qi doesn't notice. In the end, Yifan wins the race. And after the race, Yan Qi realizes that his candy box is missing, so he starts looking for it. He also tells Yifan, "I can't find my candy box." Seeing him looking for the candy box, Yifan's friend says, "Why is Yan Qi putting so much effort for a candy box?" So Yifan says, "Maybe it is important to Yan Qi." Then she also starts helping him find the candy box, but they don't find it anywhere. Then she looks in the dustbin and finds the box there. On the other side, Yan Qi is tired of looking for the box. He remembers his high school friend who gave him that candy box. Yan Qi is lying on the ground. Just then, Yifan comes there with his candy box. Seeing this, Yan Qi becomes very happy. While leaving, he asks Yifan, "Did you pick this up from the dustbin? Because the dustbin was the only place I hadn't looked." So Yifan says, "Don't worry, I have cleaned the box." Yan Qi thanks her. Yifan tells him, "I also used to like eating candy in high school, but I stopped eating candy because of cavities." Hearing this, Yan Qi looks at her. Just then, a student comes with a trolley, but it slips from his hands and the trolley is about to hit Yan Qi, but Yifan saves him. Seeing Yifan, Yan Qi remembers his high school friend named Xiao Song. He goes to Yifan and asks, "Do you have any siblings?" She says, "I am the only one in my house." In the next scene, we see Yan-ki playing the piano. Yi-fan comes there with the music participants. They all start preparing for the music competition, but they are not able to sing at the same level. Yan-ki says, I will play the piano, and then it will help everyone sing at the same level. After this, Yi-fan was going to have lunch with her friends when she gets a call from the teacher. The teacher says, your music competition costume has arrived, so come and try it with Yan-ki. Now she calls Yan-ki, but his friend picks up the phone. She informs him and hangs up. Later, his friend tells Yan-ki, Yi-fan was calling you. So he leaves his meal and goes there. On the other hand, we see Yi-fan, who is wearing the costume and looking at herself in the mirror, mimicking Yan-ki. Yan-ki also comes to the hall looking for her, but doesn't see Yi-fan there. He goes on stage and calls out, Yi-fan, where are you? She comes out from backstage. Seeing her in the costume, he keeps staring at her. She quickly comes to Yan-ki but falls because her shoelaces were untied. Now Yan-ki catches her. Seeing Yi-fan fall like this reminds him of someone, so he says, I just remembered some work, and leaves. After trying the costume, she keeps them in the room. She sees that it is about to rain, so she closes the window so the costumes don't get wet. After she leaves, someone comes and opens the window, causing water to spill on the color on the table, and that color spills on the clothes. The next day, when everyone sees the costumes, they get angry at Yi-fan because she was the last one to keep the costumes. She says, I closed the window, but no one believes her, so she accepts her mistake and takes all the dresses away. Later, a girl says, I opened the window, but I didn't know it would ruin the costumes. Now everyone gets angry at her. You should have accepted your mistake first. We said so much to Yi-fan. On the other hand, Yi-fan goes to different laundry shops, but no one is ready to wash those clothes. Just then, Yan-ki comes with ice cream for her. Then he asks Yi-fan, did you find any solution to fix the costumes? She says, no. So he takes her to an empty place where there are many colors. He says, if we can't clean these colors, we will paint these costumes completely. Meanwhile, the rest of the team members also come, and then everyone wears their costumes and throws colors at each other, making all their costumes colorful. The next day, their music competition takes place, in which everyone performs very well. During the performance, Yan-ki receives a call from Xiao Song. In the next scene, Yan-ki's friends tell him about a nearby gym. When Yan-ki sees the gym card, he is shocked because it is in Xiao Song's name. Now he remembers his high school friend, whose name was written on the back of his jacket, and who used to save him from every difficulty. Yan-ki thinks, I have a chance to find my lost friend. In the next scene, we see Yi-fan with Ming in the gym. Here we learn that Xiao Song was Yi-fan's best friend in high school. They were such good friends that they had the same haircut. He even gave his jacket to Yi-fan, which had his name written on it. Now he is very happy to see Yi-fan, and they also go for a basketball match together. As soon as they leave, Yan-ki also comes there. So he finds out that Xiao Song has gone to the basketball court. He follows him, but before he reaches there, the three of them have already left. Now he goes to the bus stand, where he hears someone calling Xiao Song's name. He sees that the same name is written on his jacket. He calls out to him, but as soon as Xiao Song turns around, he doesn't recognize him. Just then, Yi-fan comes from behind. Yan-ki realizes that the one who used to help him in school was Yi-fan, because her haircut was like a boy's, and she used to wear Xiao Song's jacket, so he thought she was Xiao Song. Now a past scene is shown, in which Yi-fan used to live like a tomboy in high school, and she was enjoying there with Xiao Song and Ming. Just then, some boys come to trouble Xiao Song. Now they challenge to drop the fruit from the tree to show their power. When they punch, only a little fruit falls. Then Yi-fan punches, and a lot of fruit falls, shocking their group. After that, Yi-fan goes to the locker room to get Xiao Song's stuff. Her haircut was like a boy's, so they thought she was also a boy. Now some boys were bullying Yan-ki there. So Yi-fan comes and kicks those boys down and takes Yan-ki away from there. She hides in a room and waits for those boys to leave. Now there was a piano in that room. Yan-ki liked the piano, so he starts playing it. Seeing this, Yi-fan gets impressed. She asks him, are you a music student? He says, no, because my dad doesn't like my interest in music. He further says, I play the piano just for the show. Yi-fan says to him, if you can't play the piano at home, you can come here and play. I will provide you with the key to this room. Yan-ki, thinking she is a boy, asks, why are you helping me? So she says, we are friends. If a friend doesn't help another friend, who will? Next, we see Yan-ki coming to Yi-fan's class, but he finds out that she is playing in the playground. Seeing her close with Ming, Yan-ki assumes that Ming is her boyfriend. After the match, Yi-fan gives the keys to Yan-ki, and then her friends call her. So she gives a candy to Yan-ki and leaves. In the present, Yan-ki is confused, so he goes to Yi-fan and asks her real name. She says, Yi-fan. So he thinks, if this is Yi-fan and she is a girl, why does she look exactly like my high school friend? Yi-fan thinks he has some mental problem. Yan-ki goes and sits by the piano and starts remembering his past. Now a past scene is shown where Yan-ki is playing the piano in the same room. Yi-fan comes there and is shocked to see him playing the piano. She praises him a lot, so Yan-ki says, "This tune is quite hard, so I don't know how to play it." Yi-fan says, "You played this tune better than the composer." So Yan-ki asks, "Have you seen the composer play it?" Yi-fan lies, "Yes, I have seen." So Yan-ki praises her a lot. Now she goes home and does some research and finds out that the composer of this tune had died a long time ago. Now she feels very embarrassed. The next day, she tells Ming, "I want to celebrate Yan-ki's birthday." Now she and Ming start decorating for Yan-ki's birthday. After this, we see Yan-ki, who had a map to Yi-fan's surprise. He was about to reach there when he gets a call from his dad, so he goes to him. Here, Yan-ki gets scolded by his dad because he had filled out the form for music school. This makes him very upset. Just then, he finds the map in his pocket, so he thinks of Yi-fan. He runs to the terrace, but due to the rain, all the decorations were ruined, and there was no one there. But as soon as Yan-ki looks under the table, Yi-fan was hiding there with a cake. He lifts her up, and she comes out from under the table. Then they light the candles on the cake. Yi-fan sings a birthday song for him, and Yan-ki makes a wish and blows out the candles. Seeing him cough, she gives him her scarf and asks, "Why are you treating me so well?" Yi-fan was about to propose to him when lightning starts flashing in the sky, so she gets scared and hugs Yan-ki. At first, he keeps looking at her, then gets confused and pushes her away, because in his view, Yi-fan is a boy, and seeing her do this, he feels very strange. Before she can say anything, he leaves. In the present, Yi-fan is drinking with her friends. Then she leaves and comes to a hall where Yan-ki is sitting by the piano. Seeing her, he understands that she has been drinking, so he tries to handle her, but she gets very close to him and kisses him. In the next scene, Yan-ki is thinking about his kiss with Yi-fan. Then the scene goes to the past, where Yan-ki is playing the piano. Just then, his dad comes there, who had agreed to Yan-ki's admission to music school. He says to him, "We are moving to Beijing." In the next scene, Yi-fan is going to the university competition. She remembers that she had asked Yan-ki to meet her in the music room. Yan-ki was also going with his dad when he remembers too, so he asks his dad to wait and runs there. Yi-fan is in the music room. She sees that there is no one there. She still waits for a while, then gets a call from the teacher. They are calling her to leave. So Yi-fan thinks that Yan-ki has forgotten his promise, so she leaves. While leaving, her candy box is left there. As soon as Yi-fan leaves, Yan-ki comes there. He doesn't find anyone there, but he finds her candy box. So he understands that he is late. Now he takes admission in the same university where Yi-fan had said she would take admission, but he doesn't see Xiaosong's name in the admission list because he thought Yi-fan's name was Xiaosong. In the present, Yi-fan thinks of meeting Yan-ki. She was very embarrassed in front of him, so she starts talking weirdly to him. She asks him, "How do you remember Xiaosong?" Then she asks, "Do you remember me?" So he says, "Yes, but you have changed a lot." So Yi-fan says, "I have grown my hair." Yi-fan was about to talk about yesterday's kiss when Yan-ki reacted as if nothing had happened between them. So Yi-fan thought maybe it was her imagination because she was drunk. But when Yan-ki says to her, "Don't drink too much," she realizes that everything that happened yesterday was true, so she feels embarrassed. Just then, a driving school instructor comes and asks them to join the driving lessons. Yan-ki joins with Yi-fan. Yi-fan was about to refuse, but she thinks this way she will get a chance to spend time with Yan-ki, so she agrees. Now we see a person secretly taking pictures of Yan-ki. After taking the pictures, he calls someone to give the information. The next day, they both get ready and go to the driving school. Yan-ki learned everything in the first ride itself because he had also learned driving from his dad. But Yi-fan drives very badly in her turn, so the instructor gets frustrated and says to Yan-ki, "Help Yi-fan," and leaves. Now Yan-ki teaches Yi-fan how to drive, and in this way they get very close. The next day, Yan-ki calls Yi-fan for practice, where he was going to teach her driving with his dad's car. Now they both go for a drive. On the way, Yi-fan gives him something to eat, but he says, "I can't eat while driving." So she starts feeding him with her hand. Then she also cleans his mouth. Just then, a dog comes in front of their car, so Yan-ki loses control of the car, causing a tire to puncture. Now Yi-fan and Yan-ki start looking for help. They don't get any signal on their phones, so they both sit down somewhere, tired. It starts raining there, so they both run to an old lady's house who gives them something to eat. They ask the lady about a shop, but the lady had a hearing problem, so she doesn't understand them. Now it was quite late, so the lady says to them, "Stay here." She thinks they are a couple. They both explain to the lady, "We are friends, not a couple." But the lady doesn't hear them. They decide to stay there. The lady gives them a room. After this, Yi-fan heats water for Yan-ki, and he goes to take a bath. When he comes out, Yi-fan smiles seeing Yan-ki's dress, which the old lady had given him. At night, they lie down together. Yi-fan says goodnight to Yan-ki, and they both try to sleep, but neither of them can sleep. In the middle of the night, Yi-fan has a stomach ache, so she gets up and goes outside. Yan-ki also sees her going out. Yi-fan was coming back after using the toilet, but due to the darkness, she feels she has lost her way. Just then, she bumps into Yan-ki. She asks him, "What are you doing here?" He says, "I was looking for you." She says, "I went to use the toilet and strange noises are coming from the forest." Now Yi-fan sees a firefly, which was glowing because it was night. Now they both go to an odd place following it, where there are many fireflies. Seeing them, they both get very happy, and Yi-fan starts catching them. She tries to catch a firefly on Yan-ki's head, but it flies away. Seeing Yi-fan like this, Yan-ki thinks, "Everything that has happened to me so far is not a coincidence. We must have some purpose." In the next scene, they had returned, and Yi-fan had caught a cold. But when she remembers that she has a class with Yan-ki, she takes medicine and starts going. On the way, she looks at herself in the mirror. She looked sick. She hadn't done any makeup, so she takes out lipstick from her bag and starts applying it. Just then, a boy passes by her and Yi-fan's hair gets stuck in his bag. She tries very hard to get her hair out, but they are very tangled. The boy, whose name is Bai-yu, also starts trying to get them out, but nothing happens. Now they were both getting late for class, so they go to class like that. Sitting behind, Bai-yu somehow removes her hair. Then she leaves, but she leaves her ID card there. Meanwhile, Yi-fan's teacher is taking attendance, and since Yi-fan is not present, she is marked absent. After attendance, the teacher says to everyone, "Form groups." Now Yi-fan arrives, so the teacher, annoyed, says, "You were late on the first day." The teacher tells her to join a group, but all the groups had already formed. So Yan-ki says to her, "Join my group? There's a spot." Yi-fan happily goes to him. After class, she realizes she doesn't have her ID card. So she says to Yan-ki, "Can I borrow your ID card? Without an ID card, I can't buy food from the canteen." Now Yan-ki realizes she has a cold, so he doesn't let her eat anything unhealthy and says, "You will only eat healthy food." Yi-fan makes a face and says, "I don't like this." In the next scene, Yi-fan is in the library with Ming, secretly watching Yan-ki. So Ming pushes her and says, "Just go and talk to him." Now they both sit and study, and Yan-ki is explaining the project to her, but Yi-fan is just staring at him because he looked very cute. After this, Yan-ki says to Yi-fan, "Let's go watch a movie. It's related to our project." So they both go to the cinema hall. Yi-fan sees the movie title and says, "The Pianist?" The movie starts, and Yi-fan remembers her school days when she saw Yan-ki going to watch the same movie with a girl. She had gotten in line behind Yan-ki for tickets, but she took tickets for a different movie instead of The Pianist, so she couldn't go to the theater. In the present, she is watching the movie with Yan-ki. Yan-ki also remembers his school days when he used to see Yi-fan practicing some game. Yi-fan keeps looking at Yan-ki and tries to hold his hand but then pulls back. They both smile at each other. In the next scene, we see Bai-yu, who is holding Yi-fan's ID card and smiling at it. In the next scene, Yi-fan is going to class, but her dress gets caught on something, causing the stitching of her skirt to come undone. At the door, she notices that half of her skirt's stitching has come undone. She was about to follow the thread when Bai-yu comes there with the thread and then covers her waist with his shirt. After this, when she comes to class, Yan-ki notices the shirt around her waist. After class, Bai-yu comes to Yi-fan and says, "Your ID card." Yi-fan remembers that he is the same boy she bumped into. She says to Bai-yu, "Thank you for returning the ID card." Bai-yu smiles and says, "I came to return this card, so you should thank me properly." Yi-fan, confused, says, "What should I do?" Bai-yu mischievously says, "Offer me lunch." After this, they come to the canteen for lunch. The girls are talking about Bai-yu because he was quite handsome. Now Yan-ki comes there, sees them, and then leaves in jealousy. In the next scene, Yi-fan gets a message from Yan-ki, which says, "Come to the library to study English." She happily goes there. Yan-ki helps her with English. He realizes that Yi-fan's English is quite poor. Yan-ki is thinking of a trick to confess his feelings to Yi-fan, so he gets an idea. He thinks of giving her a book for exam practice and puts a note in it, in which he has confessed his feelings. The next day, he gives the book to Yi-fan. Yi-fan is very happy to receive the book because she thinks Yan-ki bought the book for her. Her friend sees the book and says, I also have a book like this because the monitor brought such books for everyone. But the book given by Yan-ki was important to Yifan, so she carefully places it on the shelf and studies from the book brought by her friend to prepare for the exam. On the other hand, Yan-ki thinks, Yifan must have seen the message by now. Then why hasn't she replied to me? The next day, he meets her in the library and asks her about the note. Did you read the note? Yifan hadn't opened the book, so she had no idea what was in the note. But she lies. Yes, I read it. Yan-ki asks her, so what do you think about what was written in it? Yifan thinks he wants to test her if she's done the book exercises carefully or not. Those exercises were tough, so she says, it wasn't good. Yan-ki thinks she is talking about the confession note while she is talking about the book exercises. Now this creates a misunderstanding between them. Yan-ki thinks Yifan has rejected his confession, so he leaves sadly. Yifan's friend invites her to a party. Everyone will be there. So Yifan asks, will Yan-ki and his friends come too? She says, yes. So Yifan agrees to go. Now the next scene shows the party, where Yifan is waiting for Yan-ki, but he doesn't come. Yifan asks his friend about Yan-ki. He says, he is busy shifting his stuff. Now she goes outside and messages him, why are you changing rooms? Are you angry with me? Now a senior of Yifan comes there and starts talking to her. Just then, Baiyu also comes, seeing whom the senior leaves. So Yifan thanks Baiyu. Baiyu holds Yifan's hand and says, let's go inside. She goes inside and sees Yan-ki, sits next to him, and tries to talk to him, but he keeps looking at Baiyu. Then Baiyu takes Yifan to choose songs, making Yan-ki feel jealous. In the next scene, Yifan was very excited because today was her publicity photo shoot with all the students. Now the teacher introduces them to the photographer, who was Baiyu. After taking the group photo of all the students, he takes Yifan aside for a solo photo. Just then, she sees Yan-ki coming there, so she goes to him. Baiyu also follows her. Seeing them together, Yan-ki gets upset. He says to Baiyu, take her photos quickly because she has to go somewhere later. Now Baiyu takes many photos of Yan-ki and asks him to see them, but he leaves. Now the photo shoot is happening there, but it gets delayed due to rain. Then a boy suggests, while it's raining, we should tell horror stories. People sit in a circle. Yan-ki starts to leave, so Baiyu stops him. Are you afraid of horror stories? Then he sits between Yifan and him. Now a student starts telling a horror story. Suddenly, the camera starts falling on Yifan, but Yan-ki saves her, injuring his hand. Yifan tells him to put a bandage on it, but he says, it's okay, it's not a big injury anyway. But Yifan still takes him along and, while bandaging, asks him, why are you changing rooms? Don't you like staying on campus? He says, it's not like that. Just then Baiyu comes and says, the rain has stopped, so we can do the photo shoot now. So Yan-ki says, I have a bandage on, so I can't come. Yifan tells him to rest and starts to leave, but Yan-ki holds her hand and stops her. Seeing him do this, Yifan gets shocked. She asks him, what happened? When Yan-ki sees Baiyu standing, he says, nothing. So they both leave. In the next scene, Yan-ki's friend comes in angrily. Yan-ki asks him, what happened? He says, I was going to select photos with Baiyu, but at the last moment, the teacher refused. And now Yifan is with him. Then he says, Baiyu must have told the teacher about Yifan. In the next scene, Yifan was going to select photos with Ming when she gets a message from Yan-ki. He asks her to come with him to see an apartment. Will you come with me to see the apartment? Hearing this, Yifan becomes happy, but she has to cancel her program with Baiyu. She says to Ming, you go to select photos with Baiyu. Then she goes with Yan-ki to see the apartment. They see 2 apartments, but they don't like them. The next apartment is good, but its rent is quite high. But Yan-ki says, no problem, I'll agree to it. The next day, Yifan was helping Yan-ki shift his stuff. After finishing all the work, Yan-ki tells her to sit down and folds her pants because he wanted to apply medicine to her knee. She had gotten hurt while finding the apartment yesterday. Yifan says, I feel embarrassed, I will do it myself. So Yan-ki says, in high school you and Xiaosong were quite close, so why are you feeling shy with me now? Then she agrees to Yan-ki's words, and he starts applying the medicine. After that, she starts leaving and gives him a toy as a gift before leaving. In the next scene, Yifan was in the mall, trying to walk and move like other girls she saw there. Just then, Baiyu sees her and understands what she is doing, so he takes her to the studio and says, try this dress on. Then he clicks many beautiful pictures of her. On the other hand, Yan-ki was using his mobile when he sees photos of Yifan that someone had posted in the group. People were commenting on her and praising Baiyu's photography. The next day, Yifan comes to college wearing the same dress. All the students are surprised to see her like this. She goes straight to Yan-ki and asks, how do I look? He says, I saw your photos. Then he bluntly says, "This dress doesn't suit you at all." Yi Fan feels sad and sits aside. The next day, we see Yan Ki playing the piano for an audition, but his mood was very bad, so he was playing the piano very badly. Hearing this, the judges think that Yan Ki doesn't know how to play the piano, so they scold him and he comes out. When everyone finds out that Yan Ki wasn't selected, they all feel sad because now they couldn't participate in the music competition. After that, they go to the room where they used to practice music, but another band had come there. They ask them, "What are you doing here?" They say, "Now you are not participating in any competition, so we will practice rock music here instead of classical." The leader of that group starts speaking rudely to them, and then a fight breaks out. Most of the injuries were on Yan Ki's group. In the next scene, Yi Fan gets a call from Ming. She tells her about Yan Ki's fight, so Yi Fan starts going to Yan Ki. Bai Yu stops her and says, "I will take you to Yan Ki on my bike." So Yi Fan sits with him. After reaching the clinic, she sees that Yan Ki's friends had many injuries. Meanwhile, Yan Ki comes out of the doctor's room. He wasn't much injured. He gets angry seeing Yi Fan with Bai Yu and starts leaving. Bai Yu stops him and says, "Yi Fan came to meet you." He says, "If she came to meet me, what are you doing here?" After that, Yi Fan makes egg tarts to cool down Yan Ki's anger and records a message in a teddy bear for him. At first, she doesn't understand what to say, then starts singing a song taught at school. In the next scene, Yan Ki sees that his friends were leaving the room because the teacher had given that room to the rock group. So Yan Ki comes home. When he sees Yi Fan's gift and listens to her recorded message, he starts smiling. After this, Yi Fan receives an anonymous bouquet. This bouquet, it mentioned a place to come to. She thinks that Yan Ki sent the bouquet to thank her, so she becomes very happy. Then she arrives at that place on time, where she is waiting for Yan Ki. Just then, Bai Yu arrives there. She gets surprised to see him and asks, "Why did you call me here?" He tells her, "Today is my birthday, and I have no one to celebrate it with." Now Yi Fan agrees to celebrate his birthday with him. First, he takes her for a horse ride and then sits with her. Then they both have food at a restaurant. Then Yi Fan realizes that today is not Bai Yu's birthday. She asks him, "Why did you lie to me?" He says, "Because I like you." She says, "But I like someone else." So Bai Yu asks, "What's so special about Yan Ki that you like him?" So she starts praising Yan Ki. In the next scene, Yi Fan sees that Bai Yu has uploaded her birthday picture on social media. She gets very shocked. Just then, she meets Yan Ki, and she tries to hide the photo. They sit together and have lunch. Yan Ki thanks her for the egg tart. She asks him, "Why did you fight?" So he tells her all the details. Hearing this, Yi Fan gets very angry. In the next scene, Yi Fan messages Yan Ki and asks, "Will you come to the music concert with me?" He was sitting on another bench in the same class. He calls out to her and says, "Meet me outside after class." Hearing this, the whole class gets surprised. In the next scene, they both go to watch the concert. She was very excited initially, but she falls asleep while listening to the concert because it was classical music. In the next scene, we see Yi Fan and Yan Ki coming out after the concert. Yan Ki tells her, "You fell asleep as soon as the concert started." Then he takes her to a club. Seeing the musicians there, Yan Ki says they are not singing in tune. So the other people get angry at him. Now they both leave from there. After that, Yan Ki asks Yi Fan, "Where should we go now?" She says, "Now we should go to your house." And then they come to his house and start playing video games. After a while, Yan Ki sees that Yi Fan has fallen asleep and a song was playing on her phone. He likes that music a lot and starts listening to it. The next morning, Yan Ki goes to his music teacher. The teacher tells him, "I have convinced the judges to let you participate in the competition." Hearing this, he becomes happy because he had come to talk to them about the same thing. Meanwhile, Yi Fan wakes up in Yan Ki's room. At first, she gets confused. Where am I? Then after a while, she realizes, I stayed at Yan Ki's house last night. Yan Ki had made breakfast for her. Yi Fan starts eating it, but she doesn't like the taste, still eats it all. Due to eating that breakfast, she gets an upset stomach. While practicing in college, she keeps going to the washroom. Her teacher tells her, "You should start preparing for the competition next week." She asks them, "I heard that freshers can't participate." The teacher says, "You got this chance because of our recommendation." In the next scene, Yan Ki tells his team, "We can participate again." They get happy, but they didn't have any place to practice. The next day, Yan Ki goes to Xiaosong's gym and asks him for help. He agrees. So Yan Ki's whole team moves there with their instruments. In the next scene, Yan Ki comes to meet Yi Fan on the ground after his practice. She was practicing too. She tells him, "I am very nervous about my match." He tells her, "You once said that it's more important to enjoy the competition than to win it." Hearing this, Yi Fan feels very good. The then both start practicing for their competitions. A few days later, it is the day of Yanqi's and on the same day, Yifan also had a match. Yanqi eats the candy given by Yifan and starts his performance. At first, everyone finds their performance boring, but when they use all the instruments well, everyone enjoys it. On the other hand, Yifan also performs very well in the competition and manages to win the gold medal. After the match, she goes to Yanqi, where he is playing the piano alone. So Yifan sits on the stage to listen to his piano. There is another girl there who smiles at them. This girl's name was Tang Tang. In the next scene, Yanqi asks Yifan to go to a party. Tang Tang is with Yanqi's friends when Yanqi arrives there. Tang Tang gets close to Yanqi, so Yifan steps back because she had seen Tang Tang with Yanqi in high school. In the next scene, Tang Tang is telling Yanqi's friends, Yanqi and I used to play the piano together. On the other hand, Yanqi is sitting with Yifan, and they are smiling at each other. Then when Yifan goes to the washroom, Tang Tang also goes there. Yifan accidentally spills water on Tang Tang's dress, so she says, "No need to say sorry, just get me a new dress instead." Yifan doesn't understand anything, so Tang Tang thanks her by pinning her against the wall. "Thank you for taking care of Yanqi, but now that I'm here, stay away from Yanqi because Yifan, you mean nothing to Yanqi." She says this and leaves, leaving Yifan shocked. Tang's friends say, "We will drop you home," but she sees that Yanqi is going to drop Yifan home, so she twists her ankle and asks Yanqi to drop her home. But Yanqi refuses, "I'm going to drop Yifan home." But Yifan says, "It's okay, I'll go by myself." So Yanqi goes to drop Tang home. Yifan is walking home with a sad face when she meets Baiyu, who asked her to go for a ride. Just then, Ming also arrives and says to Baiyu, "She can't go with you because the hostel gate is about to close." After Baiyu leaves, Ming asks Yifan, "What happened to you?" She says, "Yanqi's childhood friend has come." In the next scene, we see Baiyu with Tang. They are cousins, and she had told Baiyu to take an interest in Yifan so that she wouldn't take an interest in Yanqi and clear her way. The next morning, Yifan comes to college wearing an expensive dress, but she is shocked to see that Tang is also wearing the same dress. In class, both sit on Yanqi's right and left sides. Then Yanqi's friend spills a drink on Yifan's dress, so Yanqi gives her his shirt to wear and tells her to change her dress. Tang feels jealous seeing this. In the next scene, Yifan plays volleyball with Tang and performs very well, but Tang doesn't know how to play. After the first round, Yanqi also comes to watch the match. So to impress him, she throws the ball very high, which hits Yanqi's head and he faints. Now we see Yifan in the hostel, where Tang doesn't let her meet Yanqi. She says to her, "Because of you, he is in this condition, so stay away from him." Yifan goes to the boys' toilet to meet him. Yanqi sees her there and asks, "What are you doing here?" Just then, someone starts coming in. So they both hide in the washroom. She says, "I brought biscuits for you." She tells him to eat them, but then she realizes they are in the washroom. So coming out, she tells Yanqi to eat the biscuits. He says, "I'll eat them later." Just then, Tang arrives and throws the biscuit packet away, saying, "Don't you know that Yanqi is allergic to peanuts?" Now Yifan says sorry to Yanqi and leaves. In the next scene, we see a Christmas party, where Yifan goes outside and sees Yanqi talking to someone on the phone. Then he tells her that Tang is inviting him to a party where they have to perform a duet together, so Yifan tells him to go. Later, she stands very sad. Someone asks, "Where's your partner?" Just then, Baiyu comes and says, "I am her partner." After the party, Yifan thanks Baiyu and leaves. Yanqi and Tang are also coming. Something gets into Tang's eye, and Yanqi gets close to her to remove it. Just then, Yifan arrives and misunderstands seeing them close. She gets sad and goes to a club where she drinks a lot. Baiyu comes there and stops her from drinking and starts taking her away. Just then, Yifan's friend sees them and takes a picture. When Ming finds out that Yifan is with Baiyu, she tells Yanqi. Baiyu is getting close to the drunk Yifan when Yanqi arrives and punches him, telling him to stay away from Yifan. Ming takes Yifan away. Baiyu and Yanqi start fighting. Baiyu says, "I wasn't doing anything wrong." Yanqi leaves saying, "I'll keep an eye on you." The next day, Tang tells Yanqi in class that a meteor shower is going to happen. She tells Yanqi, "Any couple who watches this meteor shower together will stay together." Hearing this, Yanqi asks her for details. In the next scene, we see Ming and Xiaosong in a restaurant. They are waiting for Yifan. When Yifan arrives, Xiaosong tells her about the meteor shower. Actually, Yanqi had told Xiaosong to bring Yifan to watch the meteor shower so they could watch it together. Tang and Yan Qi arrive at the hotel together. She was happy that Yan Qi would stay in the room next to hers, but Yan Qi takes a room on the upper floor. Now Xiaosong also takes a room on the upper floor for Yifan. In the next scene, we see them all in the dining area where they are having a barbecue. Tang tries to feed Yan Qi, but Yan Qi takes the barbecue stick and goes to Yifan. He gives the barbecue stick to Yifan and tells her to rest while he starts cooking. Later, Yan Qi asks Xiaosong about Yifan, and he tells him that she went outside. Now he goes to find her. On the other hand, we see Yifan standing under a shed to avoid the rain. Now Yan Qi also arrives there. He starts drying her wet hair. Then he apologizes to Yifan for leaving the Christmas party. He tells her, "If you ever need me, you can ask me to stay. I will stay for you no matter what." He also starts touching her hair. Just then, Tang arrives and feels jealous seeing them so close. After the rain stops, they all start going back to the hotel and meet on the way. Just then, a meteor shower passes through the sky, and everyone watches it. In the next scene, Yifan introduces her friends to Bai Yu and Yan Qi. Bai Yu is talking to everyone, while Yan Qi is looking at Yifan. Bai Yu goes outside to drink, and one of Yifan's friends asks him to click her photo. In the next scene, she is with Bai Yu in his studio. After the photo shoot, she starts trying to attract Bai Yu. When Bai Yu refuses, she starts bad-mouthing Yifan. What's so special about her? Then she leaves in jealousy. In the next scene, Yifan is sitting in the canteen with Ming, and everyone is talking about her while looking at their mobiles. She looks at her mobile and sees that someone has uploaded her high school photos and written that she is transgender. Yifan gets very angry seeing this. Some boys tell Yan Qi that he likes a transgender girl. Yan Qi starts fighting with them over this. Later, Bai Yu and Yan Qi both start finding out who did all this. In the next scene, Tang goes to Yifan, but Ming doesn't let her meet her. She says, "I just want to tell her not to hide, but to explain to everyone." Now Tang's words motivate Yifan, and she goes for training. There too, everyone is talking about her. Her coach tells her, "People used to say the same things about me, but I ignored them and moved on because there are people in the world who love you." After a lot of investigation, Bai Yu and Yan Qi find out who did all this. Then they make a plan. In the next scene, Yifan is sitting in a restaurant, drinking, when Yan Qi also arrives there. Then they sit and drink and talk. Yifan says, "I didn't know you could drink." He says, "Yes, sometimes I do." In the next scene, Bai Yu goes to that girl with a bouquet and tries to distract her by talking to her. On the other hand, Yan Qi logs into that girl's account, and she is the one posting all these things. Yan Qi posts, "A live broadcast is going to happen in a while," and everyone gets to know about this. Now Yan Qi also arrives there, and they start talking about Yifan's photos, saying they are photoshopped. The girl says, "No, they are not photoshopped." So they ask, "How do you know?" She starts lying. Then Yan Qi shows her a lot of proof. Yifan also arrives there and asks the girl, "Did you do all this?" She starts denying it. Just then, Tang also arrives and slaps the girl. "Because of you, Yifan and I had to face a lot because everyone thought I posted these photos." Now she shows her some reports as proof, and the girl admits that she did all this out of jealousy. Yifan says to her, "I considered you a friend. I was a tomboy, but I tried very hard to change myself, which was difficult for me. But my friends always supported me." Then she thanks everyone for doing all this and leaves. Tang also comes after her and apologizes to her. She also thanks her. The next day, Yifan reports against the girl. In the next scene, we see Yan Qi playing the piano. Yifan also arrives there, so he starts teaching her the piano. After this, we see a past scene where all the boys used to tease her, thinking she was a boy, so she made herself a girl with Ming's help. In the present, Tang says to her, "When someone likes another person, it doesn't matter if they are a boy or a girl, weak or strong." Saying this, he side hugs Yifan and says, "Now everything is fine." It is announced throughout the school that disciplinary action will be taken against the girl. In the next scene, Yifan, who was staying with Xiaosong, goes to her hostel, where some roommates apologize to her. So Yifan forgives them all and hugs them. In the next scene, when she is in college, she bumps into someone, and her scarf falls. She tries to catch it, but it flies away and falls into the lake. She starts going into the water, but Bai Yu stops her and goes into the lake himself and gives her the scarf. He asks her, "Why is this scarf so special? Did someone special give it to you?" She doesn't say anything, so Bai Yu understands that Yan Qi must have given it to her. Then he apologizes to her, and Yifan also thanks him. In the next scene, Yan Qi asks Yifan to come to the library to study. She agrees to come. When she arrives at the library, Bai Yu also comes there. Seeing him, Yan Qi's mood gets off. Now both of them are giving her different ideas. Yifan is eating candy while watching them host a party. Later at night, both of them go to drop her at the hostel. Later, Bai Yu says to Yan Qi, "Now I am officially trying to impress Yifan, so you don't need to interfere. Yanqi smiles at his words and leaves. In the next scene, Yifan's friend asks her, "Did you book the train ticket to go home?" Hearing this, Yifan gets shocked because she forgot to book the ticket. Then she quickly goes with Ming and Xiaosong and finds out that all the tickets were already booked. After a lot of searching, they find a slow train and have to book it. Now Yanqi asks Yifan, "Did you get the ticket?" She feels very sad because she got a slow train ticket. Yanqi asks her, "Can I travel with you all?" Hearing this, Yifan becomes happy. In the next scene, we see the four of them on the train, where Xiaosong and Ming are together, while Yanqi and Yifan are sitting on one side, enjoying playing games and such. At night, while sleeping, a man starts resting his head on Yifan's shoulder. Yanqi exchanges his seat with Yifan's seat. Now, both Yifan and the man rest their heads on Yanqi's shoulder and sleep. At night, due to some noise, Yifan wakes up and stands near the train door. Yanqi also comes after her. Now they start talking. The train jerks, and Yanqi gets close to Yifan. Yanqi's button gets stuck in Yifan's clothes, and she starts removing it. Just then, Xiaosong and Ming also arrive, and they suggest playing cards. So they all start playing cards, where the loser gets tape on their face, and in this way, everyone ends up with a lot of tape on their faces. In this way, they also watch the sunrise. In the next scene, Yifan is in the market. Her dad had sent her to get some items. She sees a lady who was very lovely, so she thinks maybe she is a star. Now she is getting the items when the lady comes and asks for her help. "Can you help me? I don't know how to buy meat properly." Yifan helps her. She had taken a lot of items, so Yifan also goes to drop her home. Now the lady invites Yifan for lunch at her home, but Yifan refuses. The next day, Yifan is at the store again, and she meets the lady again, and this time, the lady takes Yifan inside her home. Yifan is sitting on the couch in her home. The lady goes to the kitchen to get something. Just then, the lady's son arrives, who wasn't wearing a t-shirt. When Yifan sees him, it is Yanqi. Both get shocked seeing each other. Now Yifan realizes that she is at Yanqi's home, and the lady she thought was an aunt is Yanqi's mom. Now mom is happy to know that they already know each other. She also scolds Yanqi, "Why didn't you tell me earlier that your friend is so nice?" Now she goes to make lunch, telling them to watch TV, and says to Yanqi, "Take advantage of the opportunity," because his mom really liked Yifan. Now they were sitting, and Yanqi didn't know what to talk about. Now romantic scenes were playing on TV, making the situation even more serious. Yanqi nervously turns off the TV. Then he tells Yifan to eat some fruit. While she is eating the fruit, Yanqi keeps looking at her. The pressure cooker whistle is blowing in the kitchen, so Yifan gets up and goes to the kitchen. Just then, the pressure cooker suddenly opens, and a piece of meat hits Yifan. Yanqi's mom also arrives there and tells Yanqi to get ice for Yifan. While applying ice, she apologizes. "This is a small injury, but for girls, their face is very important, so you shouldn't be careless." Now Yifan starts leaving, and Yanqi goes to drop her. They find out that they are neighbors. In the next scene, Yifan comes to watch fireworks, and Yanqi also arrives. Yanqi had brought sparklers for her, which they light and enjoy. Yanqi was watching her smile when he smells something strange. He sees that Yifan's dress was about to catch fire from the sparkler. He quickly thinks of taking off Yifan's coat, but her dress gets saved. Now Xiaosong and Ming also arrive, and they make a wish. Just then, fireworks start in the sky. While watching the fireworks, Yanqi gets close to Yifan, wishes her a happy new year, and kisses her on the cheek. Yifan smiles and wishes him a happy new year. In the next scene, Yifan is thinking about Yanqi's kiss, wondering if Yanqi really kissed her. She also gets a message from Yan. "Are you awake?" Yifan messages him, "Can we go for a walk?" And then she waits for Yanqi's reply, but he had gone to take a bath, so he doesn't reply. In the next scene, Yifan had brought something for Yanqi. She also calls him, but he doesn't pick up because he is with Tang, so she goes to his house to meet him, but he isn't there either. Now, while coming back, she sees Yanqi's friends. She asks them about Yanqi, and they tell her he is in the practice room at school, so she starts going there. On the other hand, Yanqi is practicing with Tang, and he finds Tang's rejection letter there. He asks her about it, and she says, "I tried very hard to work without you." Then she hugs Yanqi and asks, "Can't we perform together again?" Yifan sees them close like this, and something falls from her hand and she runs away. Yanqi also sees her and comes after her, asking her to stop, but she doesn't stop. In the next scene, Yifan is boxing with Xiaosong, who is wearing a Yanqi mask, and she is taking out all her anger. Xiaosong messages Yanqi, "Yifan is very angry with you," and asks him to come there. He also explains to Yifan that maybe what she saw wasn't what it seemed, but she angrily says, all boys are the same. In the next scene, we see Yifan and Xiaosong leaving the gym, and Yan Qi arrives there. He says to Yifan, I brought snacks for you. Xiaosong also leaves them alone. Now Yan Qi tells her, I didn't pick up your call because I was practicing with Tang. She asks, really? Then Yan Qi asks her to trust him. In the next scene, Yifan finds out that someone hit Bai Yu, so she comes to the hospital with Yan Qi. There, a patient with a bandaged body is mistaken for Bai Yu, and she gets shocked. But then Bai Yu comes from outside, and they feel relieved. He now tells them everything. Yifan was about to call Ming, but Bai Yu stops her. They will think this happened because of me. Now he asks Yifan to stay and take care of him, but Yan Qi sends Yifan away and stays with Bai Yu himself, telling Yifan, I will take good care of him. Bai Yu wasn't happy with him staying, so he starts troubling Yan Qi. Sometimes he asks him to cut an apple. When he cuts it, he says, I want to eat grapes. And when he brings grapes, he says, I want the diary ones. Yan Qi gets frustrated and eats the grapes himself. At night, when Yan Qi is sleeping, Bai Yu wakes him up and asks him to take him to the washroom. Now Yan Qi gets so annoyed with his attitude that he calls Ming there the next day. She gets worried seeing him like this, so he comforts her. I will be discharged tomorrow, so there's no need to worry. In the next scene, we see Yifan and Yan Qi outside the hospital, where Yan Qi asks her to go to a movie, and Yifan happily agrees. Then she arrives on time at Yan Qi's place, and they go to watch the movie. In the cinema, Yan Qi was about to put his hand on Yifan's shoulder, but Yifan shows him a couple kissing and tells him, there are CCTV cameras inside the hall, so can you see clearly in the dark? So Yan Qi removes his hand from Yifan's shoulder. Then he goes to drop Yifan at the hostel and was about to propose to her when her coach arrives, so she leaves. Now he comes home and thinks about how to confess his feelings to Yifan. He searches on the internet and writes something to Yifan, which she finds very strange. In the next scene, he plans a candlelight dinner with Yifan at his home. As soon as Yifan enters, she says, it's very dark here. She asks Yan Qi to turn on the light, but Yan Qi lies. The bulb is broken, and asks Yifan to sit down. But Yifan directly checks the bulb, ruining Yan Qi's plan. Now he quickly starts picking up the wine bottles and candles, but Yifan had already turned on the bulb and understood seeing the wine and glasses with Yan Qi. In the next scene, they all come to celebrate, so she has ruined his plan. She starts to leave, embarrassed. Yan Qi doesn't want to miss the chance this time, so he goes after Yifan and hugs her from behind, shocking Yifan. He finally tells her, I like you. Hearing this, Yifan gets surprised. In the next scene, Yifan is at Yan Qi's house and he is drying her hair. She couldn't believe she was with Yan Qi. Yan Qi tells her to sleep on the bed and goes to sleep on the sofa himself. Yifan, who couldn't sleep at all, sits close to Yan Qi. She realizes that Yan Qi is also awake. He asks her, what are you going to do? She says, I just couldn't sleep. So Yan Qi kisses her and says, now you will sleep. She says, now I won't sleep at all. Then they start watching a movie. Yifan's attention is only on Yan Qi. The next day, they both go to college together where a friend asks, were you both together since last night? Yifan nervously says, no, we just met on the way. He says, why are you both nervous? Are you dating? To which Yifan denies and runs away. Now in class, Yan Qi sits next to Yifan and holds her hand. She says, someone will see. But Yan Qi doesn't care. He tells Yifan, Professor Tan has called us to the office after class. Now they both go to the professor, where he tells them, I want to do something special for the college anniversary. Now Tang also arrives there. They were good at classical music, so the teacher asks them to perform a classical piece. Then we see them all in the rehearsal room, where Tang tells them, I won't perform with you because I am busy. After this, we see Yan Qi, who doesn't miss any chance to get close to Yifan. Sometimes he holds her hand, and sometimes he fixes her hair. Seeing this, Ming says, you should also consider us singles. Now everyone goes for the audition. There, Tang gets very nervous and doesn't play the piano, causing their performance to be cancelled. Yifan asks Yan Qi, what's Tang's problem? He tells her, she has stage phobia. Now Yifan makes a plan. She calls everyone outside and tells them, you failed the audition, so if you perform on the anniversary day, no one can do anything to you. A boy says, this will be very embarrassing, but Yifan convinces everyone to do it. They also include the rock group with them. They needed some money for the performance, so they perform on the street with their instruments, and in this way, their show gets publicity. The next day, Yifan asks Tang to come with her, but she refuses. I have stage phobia. Now they had collected a lot of money. At night, Yifan researches stage phobia and finds out that performing in front of others can cure it. Then with Yan Qi's help, She calls Tang to the hall and talks to her. You are a coward because you can't do anything without Yanqi. If you are not like that, you have to perform on stage and show Yanqi. Tang realizes that they are doing all this to cure her fear. She says this won't help. Just then, the rest of their group also arrives and convinces Tang. In the next scene, the anniversary is shown, where many guests have come. They start performing, and the judges say, their team was out, so what are they doing here? But the professor handles the situation. What will happen with one performance? Now they start performing. Yifan wears a teddy dress to cheer up Tang. Now she performs very well, and their performance is liked a lot. And when Yifan comes on stage, Yanqi kisses her in front of everyone, making it clear to everyone that they are in a relationship, where Tang and Yifan become friends. Bai Yu says to Yanqi, tell Yifan that if you bother her, she can come to me. Yanqi says, that will never happen. So they both start joking around. In the next scene, Yifan is walking around the campus with Yanqi. Everyone's eyes were on them. No one could believe that they could be in a relationship. Even Yifan couldn't believe it. In the next scene, when they are in the library, Yanqi notices that Yifan has fallen asleep while studying. So he takes out a marker and starts smiling. In the washroom, girls are talking about Yifan. She must have cast a spell on Yanqi, that's why he fell in love with her. Now Yifan comes there, and seeing her, the girls get scared and leave because Yanqi had drawn lines on her face while she was sleeping. Now she looks at herself in the mirror and gets very angry at Yanqi. She goes outside and sees a girl trying to be friendly with Yanqi. Seeing this, Yifan gets even angrier and leaves with her books in anger. In the next scene, we see Yanqi bringing food for Yifan. Seeing Yanqi like this, Yifan becomes very happy, and her team fellows also praise Yanqi a lot. So Yanqi also praises Yifan in front of everyone, making her blush, and she hugs him. In the next scene, we see Yifan practicing. The coach tells her not to practice too much. You might get injured, but she doesn't listen and starts throwing the javelin. Then she gets a cramp in her hand. She goes to the doctor with the coach, and he tells her, now you have to leave this game because if you throw the javelin again, your hand might get more injured. In the next scene, we see Yanqi, who had received an offer for admission to an abroad university due to his good performance in classical music, but he didn't want to go because of Yifan. Now he puts the letter aside and sends a best of luck message to Yifan. On the other hand, Yifan was very sad, and seeing Yanqi's message, she becomes even sadder. Now the competition day arrives, where Yifan's friends and Yanqi come to cheer her up. Her coach tells her to think about it again, but Yifan had already decided. Before her turn, Yanqi hugs her to motivate her. Then Yifan's turn comes. As soon as she throws the javelin, it goes very far, but Yifan faints and falls. Her friends and Yanqi come to her. In the next scene, when Yifan opens her eyes, she sees Yanqi sitting next to her. She says to him, go home and rest because you have been with me all night. He says, no, I will stay with you. But after Yifan insists a lot, he kisses her on the forehead and leaves. In the next scene, Ming and Xiaosong come to her, and she tells them, because of the injury, I will never be able to throw the javelin again. And she becomes very sad because of this. So Ming consoles her by hugging her. On the other hand, when Yanqi goes home, his dad is there. He starts talking to him about going abroad, but Yanqi says, I don't want to leave Yifan like this. So he refuses his dad. I won't go abroad. His dad gets angry about this. Mom tells him to calm down and sends Yanqi outside to get some stuff. In the next scene, Yifan goes to Yanqi's house where he isn't home, so his mom invites her inside. Yifan sees a letter there which mentions Yanqi's admission to an abroad university. Now Yifan thinks that Yanqi isn't taking admission to that university because of her, so she leaves. When Yanqi comes home, Mom tells him, Yifan left suddenly. So Yanqi understands that she read the letter. Now he goes after her and calls her. Yifan goes to the ground and starts throwing the javelin, but she can't do it because her hand was hurting. Now she starts leaving, and Yanqi is standing outside. He asks her about her hand. What happened to your hand? She says, nothing happened. It will get better soon. He says, will you go on a date with me tomorrow? The next day, when Yanqi is waiting for Yifan, the coach passes by and tells Yanqi about Yifan. After she leaves, Yanqi acts as if he doesn't know anything. Now they both walk around and enjoy. After the date ends, Yanqi asks her, will you spend the night with me? She says, my parents are here, so I can't stay. Yanqi tells her, my parents are staying at a hotel, so no one is at home. Now they are at home, where Yanqi goes to get water for her. She records a message for Yanqi in his teddy and leaves. Yanqi also goes after her, but he doesn't see her. The next day, he comes to her hostel, and Ming tells him she has vacated her room and left. Then they all search for her. but they don't find her anywhere. When Bai Yu finds out, he starts fighting with Yan Qi. You couldn't take care of her. If something happens to her, I won't spare you. Bai Yu is very worried about her, so Ming tries to calm him down. He says, she is your best friend, so why aren't you worried about her? Ming angrily says, Yi Fan is very strong. I have known her for many years. She must have gone to spend some time alone. When she feels better, she will come back. On the other hand, Yan Qi refuses to go abroad to the teacher. When his dad finds out, he gets very angry. Yan Qi says, I'm not leaving music, I just can't go abroad right now. Now his dad gets up and leaves, but his mom supports him. At night, when Yan Qi is in his room, he listens to Yi Fan's recorded message, in which she apologizes to him and says, I don't want to be a burden on you, so I will spend some time alone to think about what I will do in my life besides javelin. In the next scene, we see Yi Fan, who had gone to her dad. She tries for a job and learns English. Along with this, she also helps in her dad's bakery, where she learns to make many things. One day when she is making a cake, Yan Qi arrives there and hugs her. He asks her, why did you do this? She tells him, now I can't play javelin, so I am learning my dad's bakery work and also learning English so that I can settle with you. Then he tells her everything from his heart. In high school, I kept my promise to meet you, and I found your candy box in the piano room. I have liked you since then, but Yi Fan doesn't believe it. Then he shows her the note he had given in the book. That means Yan Qi had confessed his love a long time ago, but Yi Fan hadn't read it. Then Yan Qi kisses her, and they start kissing each other. In the next scene, Yi Fan gets her period, so Yan Qi stays at her house and takes care of her because her dad had gone somewhere for a few days. In the next scene, we see Yi Fan feeding Yan Qi pancakes she made with her own hands. Yan Qi likes them a lot. After that, they go outside, where Yi Fan asks him, what should I do in the future? He says, whatever you do, I will always support you, and makes her promise, don't go anywhere without saying goodbye to me. She says, I recorded a message in the teddy. Yan Qi says, there is a limit to the message in that teddy, so the message was only half recorded, and everyone was very worried about you. He asks, why was your phone off? She says, I turned off my phone to avoid the coach. She apologizes to Yan Qi for doing all this. Now they come back home again. In the next scene, Yan Qi drops Yi Fan at the bakery school. He tells her, today is my birthday, so come home early. In the next scene, we see that when Yi Fan is working, her teammate brings a cake piece and says, the customers are saying this isn't right. So she checks it, and the cake is fine. And seeing it, Yi Fan is very happy. She asks her about her stage phobia, and she says, now I'm not afraid of the stage. Now Tang gives her a birthday gift, which is a pendant. Yi Fan asks her to come to the birthday party with her. Then we see everyone celebrating the party. After the party, Yan Qi brings Yi Fan home, where he had decorated. They play games and enjoy a lot. Now they fall on top of each other. Seeing Yan Qi so close, Yi Fan gets nervous and starts to leave. I have to go. The hostel gate will close, but she thinks outside whether she should go or not. Yan Qi comes out and asks, you haven't gone yet? Then he kisses Yi Fan and stops her from leaving, and they start romancing. In the next scene, we see Yan Qi and Yi Fan, who were very happy together. Now she decides to stay in Yan Qi's apartment, where they cook, eat, and study together. Everything was going well until one day Yi Fan's dad arrives there. Seeing him through the keyhole, Yi Fan gets scared and hides in the washroom to avoid him. Yan Qi opens the door and talks to Yi Fan's dad. So her dad asks, she is not in her hostel. Her friend said she might be with you. He says, she was with me, but she left a little while ago. Now dad starts to leave, and just then Yi Fan comes out of the washroom. But dad also comes there and catches them both and gets angry at Yi Fan because she didn't tell them about Yan Qi. So Yi Fan says to talk calmly. Now they ask Yan Qi about his parents because they had already decided what to answer each other's parents. So Yan Qi has no problem answering them. According to the plan, he lies to them, I am an art student, because he thinks if he tells them he is a music student, they won't like it. Dad asks him, do you know how to cook? So Yan Qi says yes, and then to impress dad, he cooks a lot of food. But when dad tries it, it is very spicy, which makes him feel unwell. Now they start testing Yan Qi to see if he is worthy of their daughter, and they also find out that he is a music student. A day before, Yan Qi and Yi Fan had taken them out for dinner, where they asked Yan Qi, what are your plans for the future? In their view, art and music are just for enjoyment. They don't provide proper earnings. Now Yi Fan says, playing the piano is my dream. I can't give it up. So dad says, if you want to stay with him in the future, you have to give up all this. Yan Qi agrees with them, but Yi Fan says to her dad, that will never happen, and then they start arguing. Yi Fan gets up and leaves. Yan Qi also goes after her and asks her to apologize to her dad, but she doesn't agree and leaves. Now Yeon-ki goes to drop Yi-fan's dad alone. Yi-fan is at home, where she finds a letter from her dad, in which he apologizes to Yeon-ki for his behavior. He wrote that he behaved very strictly, but Yi-fan is his only daughter, so he is very concerned about her. Now she quickly goes to the station to meet her dad. On the other hand, Yeon-ki is with Yi-fan's dad. They apologize to him for their bad behavior and tell him, "Yesterday I was joking about changing careers." Now as dad is about to leave, Yi-fan arrives there and hugs him. She also apologizes to him. Now her dad is very happy to meet her and says goodbye to both of them and leaves. A few days later, Yeon-ki brings Yi-fan to his home, where Yeon-ki's family meets her very nicely. Yeon-ki's mom is praising Yi-fan a lot. Now in the kitchen, Yi-fan helps Yeon-ki's dad. Dad is very impressed with her because Yi-fan has a lot of cooking knowledge. Yeon-ki is also surprised by dad's behavior. "They don't even talk to me like this." Later, they sit at the table to eat, where Yeon-ki is removing green chilies from the food, so Yi-fan starts feeding him and says, "It's not good to remove vegetables like this." Seeing this, Yeon-ki's mom is very happy and signals dad to eat the green chilies too. Next, we see Yeon-ki and Yi-fan walking outside, where Yi-fan gets a message from Tang. She invites her to meet. Yi-fan doesn't understand why she is calling her. Now she goes to meet Tang, where Tang first plays the piano for her and thanks her. "Because of you, my fear is gone." Then she asks her, "Will you really stop playing javelin?" She says, "My right hand is damaged. Now, I can never throw the javelin." Tang says, "If you can't play with your right hand, you should try with your left hand." Yi-fan says, "I'm not a lefty, so throwing the javelin with my left hand will be a bit more difficult." Tang says, "I also thought I couldn't perform without Yeon-ki, but Yi-fan proved me wrong." So she motivates Yi-fan to play javelin with her left hand. Later, Yi-fan tells Yeon-ki, and then the next day, she goes to her coach for training. Her friends are also happy to see her. Now she starts playing javelin with her left hand, and a lot of time passes. Gradually, there are also some quarrels in Yi-fan and Yeon-ki's relationship. After a long time, all the friends meet at a restaurant where Yi-fan is complaining about Yeon-ki to Ming, while Yeon-ki is complaining about Yi-fan to Yao-song. In the next scene, Yi-fan and Yeon-ki go to a restaurant where Yeon-ki proposes to Yi-fan, but he didn't have a ring, so he makes a paper ring and puts it on her. Yi-fan is very happy, and their kissing scene is shown. And in this way, this drama ends. How much rating would you give this drama, and which was your favorite scene? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the videos.